Welcome to this channel. Today we are going through a question in paper 2, a model paper, under the effect of carbon 2 oxide on copper 2 oxide. So the question that we have reads, the figure below is used to investigate the effect of carbon 2 oxide on copper 2 oxide. Study it and answer the questions that follow. Remember to subscribe to our channel as we continue looking at this question. We have carbon 2 oxide being reacted with copper 2 oxide, and this is what is going to happen. We are going to have copper 2 oxide, which is a black solid, reacting with carbon 2 oxide gas, which is a reducing agent. Carbon 2 oxide, being a reducing agent, will remove oxygen from copper 2 oxide, such that we are going to have now a brown solid of copper metal and a colorless gas of carbon 4 oxide once the oxygen from copper 2 oxide has gone to carbon 2 oxide to form carbon 4 oxide. Now, the carbon 4 oxide that is formed goes to this apparatus B, where we have lime water, and lime water is simply calcium hydroxide, and the reaction between calcium hydroxide and carbon 4 oxide forms a white precipitate of calcium carbonate. So let us go through the questions. Together. Part A, write a chemical equation of the reaction for the preparation of carbon 2 oxide in the laboratory. Carbon 2 oxide is prepared by dehydrating methanoic acid using concentrated sulfuric acid. That is, we have HCOOH. This is the formula of methanoic acid. We are going to dehydrate methanoic acid using concentrated sulfuric acid. Remember, concentrated sulfuric acid is a dehydrating agent, i.e. it removes water elements from methanoic acid. And if it is going to remove water elements, remember the 2 hydrogens and 1 oxygen will give us water, which is a liquid, and C and 1 oxygen will give us carbon 2 oxide. So this is the reaction or a chemical equation that shows how carbon 2 oxide is prepared in the laboratory. Part B, what precaution should be taken when preparing carbon 2 oxide? Remember, carbon 2 oxide is a poisonous gas, and therefore it should be prepared either in an open place or in a fume chamber. Not forgetting that a fume chamber is a special structure within the laboratory where experiments that produce poisonous gases are prepared. So we can say that carbon 2 oxide is should be prepared in a fume chamber or in an open air, because it is poisonous, because that particular gas is poisonous. Actually, it causes suffocation, which leads to death. C part of the question, study the observations made in apparatus A and B at the end of the experiment. Remember, in apparatus A is where the black solid of copper 2 oxide is reduced by carbon 2 oxide into a brown copper metal. So we can say black copper 2 oxide, changes to brown copper metal, changes to brown copper metal, changes to brown copper metal. Then B, remember the carbon 4 oxide formed as a result of the reaction between carbon 2 oxide and the copper 2 oxide produces carbon 4 oxide, which reacts with lime water to form a white precipitate of calcium carbonate. So a white precipitate is formed. So the observation that you are going to see in B is a white precipitate. Then we move down to D. Write the chemical equation for the reaction in apparatus A. And in A is where we have copper 2 oxide, a solid, a black solid actually, plus a colorless gas which is carbon 2 oxide to give us, once carbon 2 oxide has removed oxygen from copper 2 oxide, we are going to have a brown solid of copper metal plus carbon 4 oxide, which is a colorless gas. Next, we are going to look at E. State the reducing agent in part D above. Remember, a reducing agent is the one that removes oxygen from another, and in this case, since carbon 2 oxide has reduced copper 2 oxide to copper metal, we can say it is a reducing agent, and therefore now the reducing agent is carbon 2 oxide. Next, state the application of carbon 2 oxide. Carbon 2 oxide has several applications or uses. Number one, it is used in extraction of metals. Extraction of metals is one of the topics covered in Form 4. Then another application of carbon 2 oxide is that it can be used as a fuel. Then next we have G, carbon 4 oxide in air forming gas P. This cannot be carbon 4 oxide because carbon 4 oxide does not react with the air, so it is carbon 2 oxide. So this one is going to be carbon 2 oxide in air, and remember carbon 2 oxide reacts with air to form carbon 4 oxide. So the gas that is going to be formed, let us see, carbon 2 oxide reacting with oxygen will give us carbon 4 oxide, just balance. This is a gas, this is a gas, this is also a gas. So we write 2 behind carbon 2 oxide so that oxygen, we also write 2 here such that we have 2 carbon atoms. Oxygens are now 2 plus 2, which are 4. Then here is 2, and therefore now that equation is balanced. Though we are supposed to name the gas P, and the gas P is carbon 4 oxide. That is carbon 4 oxide. Next, the question we have is state 2 applications of gas P. And if we have said gas P is carbon 4 oxide, carbon 4 oxide has several applications or uses. And one of them is that it is used in making aerated drinks. That is so to enhance taste. Number 2, it can be used as a food preservative. Used as a food preservative. Then of course number 3, solid or dry ice can be used as a refrigerant. Dry ice is used as a refrigerant. That brings us to the end of that particular question. Thank you for watching and welcome to this channel. And in case you have questions that you'd like us to clarify, kindly interact with the channel in the comment section and we shall be glad to address your concerns accordingly.